This is testament to efforts they have made to become better citizens who will lead more productive lives when they are eventually released back into society. Honorable Minister, on another positive note, the 2024 USC examination had the least number of cases of examination malpractice compared to the primary living examination and the UCE examinations. As such, very few results will be withheld. The affected candidates will be accorded hearings as provided by law. Mama, the board completed hearings of the withheld cases of PLE. For the cases where there was insufficient evidence, the results were released, while the proven cases were cancelled in accordance with the provisions of Section 38(1) of the UNEB Act, Cap 259. The board will publish the list of these cases to inform the public and avoid the practice of head teachers giving fake results even when they know their schools have no results. The board has urged the chief administrative officers in those districts where the schools with cancelled results are located to ensure that appropriate disciplinary actions are taken on the head teachers and invigilators who were found culpable. As the board, we appeal to the parents and schools that the affected children be assisted to repeat the examinations in 2025, but not to drop out altogether. Honorable Minister, allow me to use this opportunity to acknowledge the concerns raised by some stakeholders about the grading of UCE under the competency-based curriculum. We have taken cognizance of the confusion created by Result 1, which was unfortunately misinterpreted as Grade 1. We also note that the Ministry of Education and Sports has been put under pressure to put numerical values to the grades A to E. The board recognizes that these concerns are understandable and occur with any change of such a magnitude as the new curriculum. The board has planned a series of engagements with critical stakeholders to explain the grading system. The board will not put numerical values to these grades as we hear has been agitated for, because that is not the intention of the new curriculum. However, those who use these results may put these numerical values just like it has been done with USC results by universities and other users. It should be noted that those values of A for 6 for A and 5 for B, etc., were never created by UNEB in the first place. The numerical values were a creation by the post-secondary institutions to assign a point system for their admission criteria. Honorable Minister, the board is grateful to you for your leadership, which has consistently given clear guidance and necessary support to the board. This has enabled the board to deliver on its mandate. I now would like to thank my colleagues on the board for their cooperation in providing the necessary policy guidance through the examination cycle, particularly this year when important decisions had to be made regarding the grading and the project assessment reporting for the new curriculum. In a special way, Mama, I would like to thank the Executive Director, Mr. Dan Odongo, and the staff of the Secretariat for their hard work in ensuring that the 4 examinations for the 2024 have been successfully concluded. Honorable Minister, these people do an amazing amount of work, a lot of which is not even known to the public. I congratulate the candidates who have performed well and wish them well in their future progress. For those who feel a little disappointed with their results, I encourage seizing the many other opportunities to progress that are out there. Mama, now I invite the Executive Director, Mr. Dan Odongo, to present the release statement. And thereafter, as the coordinator of this program stated, it will be my singular honor and privilege to present to you the 2024 USE results for official release to the public. I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Professor. As you welcome the ED, just to note, Mama, that we are also joined by Honorable Okorimoy Akech Janet, a member of the Education and Sports Committee of Parliament, and that makes it 3 of them. We want to thank them so much for committing this time. Mama, also to inform you that today is National DEAR Day, and DEAR is an acronym for Drop Everything and Read. This is a campaign you've partly been part of, and our people out there are encouraged to, at this moment of the day between 11 and midday, pick anything they can read so that they can enhance their reading skills. We join them as we read the documents before us. Very much welcome, Mr. Dan Odongo.
Mama, when the chair of the board thanked me and my staff, I expected a round of applause from the audience. Thank you. And Mama, we have dropped everything and we are reading this document. Mama, Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, Mother of the Nation, the Honorable Minister of State for Sports, the Chair and members of the Parliamentary Committee on Education and Sports, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education and Sports, Permanent Secretary, Education Service Commission, the Chair, Uganda National Examinations Board, members of the Uganda National Examinations Board present, senior members of staff from the Ministry of Education and Sports and from the Uganda National Examinations Board, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Mama, we present to you the results of the 2024 Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education examination, which was successfully conducted between the 11th November and 6th December 2024 under the theme Embracing Security and Holistic Assessment of Learners in a Dynamic Environment. Mama, allow me to report on the registration of the candidates. Total candidature, a total of 141,986 996 candidates registered for this examination compared to 110,566 candidates in 2023, an increase of 31,430 candidates, which is 28.4%. Mama, this is a very significant increase in candidature compared to previous years. Of these candidates that registered, 61,957, or 43.6%, were females, and 80,039, or 56.4%, were males. And of the increased candidature, the males accounted for 53.1%, or 16,695 of those candidates. Mama, it is possible that as a result of the change in the admission criteria for primary school teachers, those candidates that would have gone for grade 3 teacher training after UCE chose to pursue the USCE pathway. This probably partly explains for the near exponential increase, as the chair had said. The centers for the USCE examination also increased by 154, that is 7.3%, from 2,101 in 2023 to 2,255 in 2024. The candidates who appeared for this examination were 140,888 compared to 109,486 in 2023. This is also an increase of 31,402 candidates, representing 28.7%. Of these who appeared for the examination, 61,598, or 43.7%, were females, and 79,290, or 56.3%, were males. At this level, Mama, the number of female candidates has consistently been much lower than the males compared to what you may have seen at PLE and USCE. However, the number of female candidates completing the cycle and sitting for the examination has been rising. If we look at the last 3 years, in 2022, the number was 40,713. Mama, this number rose by 15.1% to 46,860 in 2023. And in 2024, this examination, the number went up to 61,598. That is 31.5% increase. Mama, it should also be noted that there are other post-UCE or 50. absenteeism. That table indicates that 1,108 candidates, or 0.8%, did not show up for this examination, compared to 1,080, or 0.9 in 2023. As I have said, there has been a state including the vocational, that hopefully the other learners have taken. Mama, traditionally, we also report on the registration of special interest groups, and in our case, the special interest groups are our special needs candidates and then the inmates in our being taken care of by the prison service. So for the special needs candidates, we registered a total of 437 candidates, of whom 249 were males and 188 were females, compared to 355 in 2023. And in Table 2, Mama, I present a summary of the special needs candidates by category and gender, and the special considerations that the board has made for each of the categories. So, Mama, the first column is the category: the blind, the low vision, the deaf, those with severe physical impairments, then the dyslexics, and there are others, the others category. And then the next column is the consideration that the board is doing for each of the categories. For example, the blind are provided with Braille, the deaf are provided with sign language interpreters during the course of the examination. Mama, the next columns show the numbers of males and females under each of the categories, and then the total number. And we compare that to 2023 in the same table. For the prison's inmates, Mama, the board registered 49 candidates from the Uganda government upper prison, Luzira. 46 of these were males and 3 were females. 48 of them took the examination, and as my chair has said, all of them qualified for the USCE certificate, with one who was absent. Mama, during the PLE and UCE, we also reported the candidature from Mbarara prisons, but this time around they have not registered any candidate at USCE as yet. Mama, allow me now to report on the performance of the 2024 USCE examination, starting with general performance. The performance of the 2024 candidates is compared to that of 2023 in Table 3, and we are showing this in terms of the numbers of candidates those levels, and we are saying they failed. The numbers of candidates that have obtained the principal passes at those levels are shown. For example, our candidates who have passed with at least with all the 3 principal passes are indicated as 54,338, giving a percentage of 38.6. When we look at 2023, that number was 52,630, but proportionally that represented 48.1%. And we look down the column, we see the different percentages and the cumulative percentages as we go down the table. The information in that table indicates that a very high percentage of the candidates, that is 98.8%, qualified for the award of the USCE. And this is just as we had in 2023. Mama, under the current regulations, a candidate requires a subsidiary pass level in one principal level subject to qualify. Although proportionally in terms of percentage at the different levels, there is an overall drop in pass levels, the actual numbers show more candidates have passed at all levels. What I mean is when you look at the cumulative percentage column, you have 38.6% for this year, 2024, compared to 48.1% of last year. Then at two principal level passes and above, we have 65.5% compared to 73.8%. But when we look at the actual numbers, the numbers of 2024 are higher than those of 2023. University admissions to degree courses have, up to date, been considering two principal level passes as a minimum requirement. And Mama, if this consideration is maintained, 92,273 rather a number of 92,273 or 65.5% will qualify to be admitted, compared to 80,816, that is 73.8% in 2023. This is consistent with the fact that there was a significant increase in entries for the examination in 2024. An extra 11,457 university places must be available, therefore, to absorb this increase. In cases where one principal and two subsidiary pass levels are considered, Mama, for admission to other tertiary institutions, then we have 121,506 or 86.2% of our candidates who will qualify for admission. Mama, I also compare male and female performance in Table 4. And we also see similarly the pass levels, 3 Ps, 2 Ps, 1 P, the number of candidates, and the percentage. On the left, we have the females. On the right, we have the males. And we can see at the 3 principal pass level, we have a percentage of 43.7 for females versus 34.6. At 2P, we have a percentage cumulatively of 71.2% versus 61.1%. And at 1P, we have 89.2% versus 84%. So as the chair said in his remarks, at all the levels, as we look at the table down, the pass levels of the females are higher. Just as we have observed over the years, female candidates, although fewer in number, as we have already seen, than their male counterparts, have performed proportionally better than their male counterparts. The percentage passes at the upper levels of 3 principals and 2 principals are higher, while the percentage passes at the lower levels and the failure rate among females are lower than that of the males. Mama, then I compare performance in large entry subjects. The performance of candidates in large entry subjects, including the general paper, which is compulsory, is a subsidiary level subject, but it is compulsory. Then subsidiary mathematics and subsidiary ICT, these are also subsidiary level subjects, but they are more or less compulsory in the sense that a candidate must offer either subsidiary mathematics or subsidiary ICT. We compare this in Table 5. And again, we are also comparing 2024 and 2023. The subjects which we regard as large entries, not all the subjects are here, Mama. We are looking at the number of candidates registered for those. So we have history, economics, entrepreneurship education, and down to the subsidiary subjects at the bottom, with general paper appearing at the top. We indicate the number of candidates who are passing at principal pass level A. Then we also indicate the percentage that are obtaining principal pass level A to E, that is cumulatively all those that are getting at least principal pass. And we compare those to 2023. So if we take history, for instance, 7.5% of all the candidates got A, and then 91.9% of the candidates passed with a principal pass, E and above. And then if you take those that also passed with a subsidiary level pass, we have a pass rate of 98.7. And this compares to a total pass rate of 98.9 the previous year. In economics, 1.9% of the candidates passed with an A, 60.6% obtained at least a principal pass E and above. The overall pass level is 87.3. This compares to 82.3% in 2023. So the table presents a mixed bag. There are subjects where performance have dropped, and then there are those that where the percentage pass levels have gone up. So table 5 shows that the principal level passes A to E, we see improvements in economics, literature and English, physics, and biology. Mama, as reported last year, the number of candidates registering and appearing for mathematics and sciences, which the chair has called the STEM subjects, are gradually increasing as we have shown in Table 6. Mathematics has the largest increase. However, overall, the numbers have remained, the numbers so we expect these numbers to continue creeping upwards when more facilities are made available to enable more candidates or more students to register for sciences. Mama, under 3.4, are also comparing now those that passed with a principal level A and the percentage that is obtaining at least E and above. So when we look at history, for females, at least 7.9% got A. This compares to 7.0 for the males. And overall, those that got principal passes for females, we have 93.3 against 90.2 for the males. Economics at A, they are at par, 1.9%, but at A to E, the females are at 65.5% and the males are 57.3%. As we go down the column, Mama, you will notice that the A to E column for females, the percentages are better than those of the males, particularly in the humanities, as the chairperson said in his remark. But the reverse is true when we look at the science subjects, except at physics, where we have 58.2% of the females getting at least a principal pass E, compared to 57.0. So in that subject, although the males are much better at A, that is 4.3% versus 7.4%, overall, the females have done better in that subject. So proportionally, female candidates performed better than their male counterparts at the principal level pass A to E in all the humanities subjects, physics, and the general paper. And Mama, we have been observing this trend over the years. Female entries for the sciences and mathematics have remained lower than that of the males, consistent with the fact that overall female entry is lower than that of the males. The numbers are, however, also rising, as we can see in Table 8 below. So we can also see over the last 5 years, in 2019, we had only 8,942 females that sat for mathematics. Now the number is more than twice, over 100% increase. Physics, the numbers are still low, but again we see an increase of over 100%. And this is replicated. Report performance of special interest groups, starting with special needs candidates, and this is in Table 9. We have again reproduced the categories, the blind, the low vision, the deaf, going horizontally, and then we have indicated those passing with the 3 Ps, disaggregated by gender at 2 Ps, 1 P, and subsidiary passes. And we have given the total numbers as well. We see that the highest level passing is for the others, the second last column on the right, where you have 104 candidates who are registered under the category of others. Now, Mama, these others are these other conditions such as asthma, sickle cell anemia, epilepsy, and such other conditions that have an impact on the way the candidates perform. So these are not given any particular consideration except that they are allowed 45 more minutes for each of the papers that they write. Most of the candidates at the 3 principal passes, or 52%, in this category. For the prisons inmates, we have them in Table 10. As I have already said, Mama, these sat from the Uganda Upper Prison, Luzira, and they were at 3 principal level pass, 25 of them passed. At 2P, we have 13, and 1 principal level, we have 10, and 1 was absent. And Mama, as we said, all of them qualified for the USCE certificate with at least one principal pass. There was only one absent, but the majority of them were males, that is 93.8%. Ma'am, allow me to make some brief comments on the work of the candidates. Performance of candidates has shown significant improvements in economics, literature in English, physics, and biology. But we have also noted significant drops in levels of performance in entrepreneurship education, Christian religious education, geography, mathematics, agriculture, and chemistry. Mama, grades for the science subjects have continued to be much lower than for the humanities, which are usually better done. And Mama, we can look back at the tables that I have already presented to confirm this. In the humanities, the problems continue to be poor interpretation of questions due to misunderstanding the key concepts that determine the expected responses by the candidates. In history, for example, inadequate critical thinking skills limited the candidates' ability to analyze historical views. The National Constitution is a major reference material in one of the papers in the subject of history. And the candidates who offered this paper exhibited very limited exposure to the Constitution. This probably goes for the majority for very many citizens of this country as well. In economics, candidates showed inability to relate their responses to real-life situations by using relevant examples, especially about their own country, Uganda. Poor mathematical skills also affected their responses in areas where by that business firms are unwilling to offer placement for these learners. In some cases, the learners are even being asked to pay to get placement. This lack of practical exposure impacts their performance in the examination. The Holy Bible and the Holy Quran are key reference materials in religious education. However, our examiners have reported low levels of knowledge and inability to apply the teachings of the holy books to the everyday life situations. This we have also seen earlier, where the cry from the markers indicate that people cannot effectively quote from the Bible or the Quran or use the knowledge that they have in everyday situations. Geography is one of the subjects where performance dropped, and examiners reported poor skills in using the various statistical methods available to explain geographical phenomena. Also, they showed poor application of fieldwork skills to explain daily geographical issues, and candidates are also not relating the theory to the environment. The paper on the geography of Uganda, surprisingly, has always been poorly done. The problem of inadequate map interpretation skills has also persisted because, Mama, we have reported this before. UNEB examines a number of local languages at this level. candidates offering these languages showed a lack of knowledge of the relevant cultural practices, the meanings of proverbs, and the use of proverbs in sentences. They have also shown lack of appropriate vocabulary to be able to write meaningful translations. That is, if they have to translate a passage from English language, for example, to their local languages, or if they have to write a composition in the local language. In the sciences, the general problem of inadequate practical exposure continues to impact performance. Many candidates could not describe experimental procedures or fail to interpret experimental setups from diagrams that are given in the questions, especially this happened in physics. Some candidates even gave results from experiments without showing how they were obtained. There is also the challenge of relating science concepts to real-life situations. Detailed reports on the work of candidates in each of these will be prepared and sent to schools. Mama, the underlying problem that we have seen in all the subject areas is that as we transition to having competency-based assessment and competency-based teaching, there is the problem of candidates relating the knowledge that they have to real-life situations. Anything that requires candidates to do this, we have observed that performance has not been good. Examination malpractice. Mama, as the chair has said, the cases have been low. Cases were reported from only 38 centers out of the 2,255 centers, and these few will be dealt with in accordance with the regulations. Our gratitude. Honorable Minister, Mama, we give thanks and praise to God for His mercies and faithfulness. As the chair has said, the year 2024 was not easy because we had to deliver 4 examinations, including the first one based on the new curriculum for the lower secondary level. There were many steps we were taking for the first time. That we are here today, Mama, presenting to very grateful to you, Mama, for your solid support in all those areas which were critical for the successful completion of our tasks. I am grateful to the chairperson and members of the Parliamentary Committee on Education and Sports for appropriating the necessary funds. I am also grateful to the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development for releasing these funds to us. I wish to sincerely thank the chairperson and members of the board for their guidance at policy and oversight level. The permanent secretary and the senior staff of the Ministry of Education and Sports, its agencies and other institutions greatly assisted the board in various ways before and during the conduct of the examination. The area supervisors, heads of examination centers, scouts, invigilators, all these worked very well with the board, resulting in a very smooth examination process. And Mama, we sincerely thank them. I'm equally grateful, and I want to extend my appreciation to the Uganda Police, the Uganda People's Defense Forces, and other security agencies that assisted the board to conduct a smooth examination. I am very grateful to the examiners who reported to mark the scripts. Mama, unlike with some examiners at UCE, examiners at this level carried out their work very professionally and patriotically and we did not have any issues of people wanting to go on strike or putting down their pens. I thank the institutions that allowed the board to use their premises as marking centers. I also thank the parents and guardians for supporting the candidates through the UACE stage in their educational journey. And I am indebted to the members of the press who actively highlighted and publicized UNEB activities throughout the examination period. I thank all the candidates for taking the examination in the first place. And to those that have performed well, I join my chair to say congratulations. I acknowledge with profound gratitude the dedication to duty exhibited by staff at the UNEB Secretariat. Mama, their commitment and sacrifice, which is never visible to the public, enables the board to deliver on its mandate. Today, we shall collectively give glory to God that once again, He has enabled us to deliver on our mandate. Mama, on collection of results, the board will upload the examinations results on school portals as soon as you declare them released, and each school can therefore download their results as soon as they are officially released. Hard copies will be available, but not immediately, and we shall inform the centers. Candidates and candidates only may access the results by using the short messaging service on MTN and Airtel mobile networks, and the results will be posted instantly if they follow the correct instructions that we have given. That is going to the message menu, typing UACE, leaving a space, and putting the full index number, and then sending to 6600. Many cases, the candidates make mistakes, and then they are unable to obtain their results the way they should. Mama, submission of queries, we wish to request or remind the heads of centers that it is their duty to check the results of their to universities, all the corrections. Mama, I want to thank you very much for your kind attention. And Mama, my words are finished. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dan Odong, the Executive Director, UNEB. And though he says that his words are finished, we know that the press will continue to engage him to say more. Ladies and gentlemen, we are just about to invite Professor Bua, but I also want to note, Mama, that the executive directors of the other examination bodies are also here. Just kindly stand and wave to Mama, as well as the executive director of the National Council for Higher Education, Professor Mary Okwakol, and her team. Mama, by good coincidence, again, today is the International Mathematics Day. Yes, and people can cross-check. And given the kind of information we are getting from Mr. Dan Odong, we want to use this day to encourage many of our learners to stop the phobia of mathematics and actually encourage them to take it up, and we are glad that the girls are already doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, I now want to invite Professor Bua to take us to that moment when we officially hand over the results to Mama for her subsequent action. And I would like to call upon the front bench to support Dr. Obua in carrying out that function. Okay, let's have the two first, the Executive Director and Professor Obua. And this is really the moment where everybody is getting very anxious. And right away, let's have the front bench and all the MPs present, the three of them, join that team. Yes. Our dear press and cameramen, that is the only opportunity we shall have for the official photos of this event. So now that the other team is joining Mama, you are free to take all the Under Secretary, you are encouraged to join that photo moment. And I'm very confident that that is the picture that is going to make the headlines tomorrow. Sure. We can begin reading the front pages of New Vision and Monitor already. Thank you. And as that moment, thank you so much. At this moment, I want to invite Honorable Peter Ogwang to make a few remarks and help us to invite Mama to address the nation. Thank you.
Can I ask all of us to clap for our dear minister before I invite? National examination. Address the country and formally release the USC examination results for 2025. You're most welcome, Mama. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please sit down. Thank you, Honorable Gwang. And thank you, UNEB. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education and Sports, the Chairperson of the Education Service Commission, represented by the Permanent Secretary, the Chairperson UNEB and your Executive Director and the whole family of UNEB. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. We congregate here this afternoon, yet again, in recognition of the milestone attained by the 140,080 learners who sat for the Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education examinations from the 11th of November 2024 to the 6th December 2024. As you all may know, today's release of results marks the third and last set of end-of-cycle results that UNEB diligently administers annually. On behalf of the government, I want to appreciate UNEB for this work that they do, more so in 2024, when we had to administer the pioneer UCE examinations under the revised lower secondary curriculum, as well as winding up on the end of cycle examinations for UCE under the old curriculum, and then POE also. In my mother tongue, there is a saying that in Runyankore it says, Otam wrestler who is always told by spectators to do the job quickly so that we can go and attend to other things. But it is not as easy and simple as it appears from the outside. We appreciate you never for proper planning by their families and us as a government is always a milestone that we should not take for granted. As you heard from Mr. Odongo's statement, the end of cycle examinations across all levels, that is POE, UCE, and USCE, combined for the year 2024, saw a 7.1% increase in total candidature. Whereas 2024 USCE examination results alone had a 28% increase in candidature. As UNEB often does for all of us, these end-of-cycle results provide a quick reflection of the health of the basic and secondary education system in our country. Therefore, it is important that the various levels of government, as well as the education system and other stakeholders in the education sector, interest themselves whenever these end-of-cycle results are being released. When we allow ourselves to see the release of these results as another annual routine, we miss a salient message that is being communicated to us about not only the performance of our children, but the health of the education system too. For example, there is need to take interest in what has led to the significant increase of the 28% in USCE candidature for year 2024 compared with previous years. As I have often said, good things do not just happen. Good works always bring forth good fruit. It is only a matter of time. The fact that we may not be able to explain right away why we are seeing good results today does not mean that the good results just come about by a stroke of chance. Often, there is intentional work that has been done by government over the years in the background. However, such good works take time to bear fruit, and by the time the fruit comes, people have even forgotten what was done way back therefore failing to associate what was done then with the good results they see now. So it is important that this nearly 30% increment in the 2024 USCE candidature is scientifically and logically explained who studied sciences and mathematics continue to increase year in, year out. This is a desirable trend, as you heard Mr. Dong say. That is good for a science-driven socio-economic transformation as a country. Evidence points to the fact that learners get interested in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education because, in quotes, it is often engaging and project-based, allowing them to tackle real-world problems, fostering critical thinking and developing skills valuable for future careers and innovations. Our children now know and are quite involved. So that's why we see this trend that is coming up and continuing. Nonetheless, we still recognize that there is still room for improvement in learner performance, in sciences and mathematics. Best practices in STEM education point us to the fact that the way sciences and mathematics are taught needs to change. This change starts with the teacher changing his or her attitude toward STEM and how it ought to be taught. In the recently released 2024 UCE examination results, you also saw how the performance in science subjects was generally good. For parents with children that have studied using the revised O-level curriculum, you hear their own testimonies of how they are enjoying the process of learning, especially the projects that the children are doing. This is exactly what learning should be, an enjoyable experience both for the learners themselves and even their parents, the parents that are involved in their learners' learning. As I mentioned earlier, good things do not just happen. There must be intentionality in effort. As a government, we are now making strategic investments in reviewing the secondary education curricula to be competence-based, project-based, and learner-centered for the learning process, not only to become meaningful, but enjoyable for both the learners and teachers. So, I call upon the teachers and parents to support your children as they navigate learning using the revised lower secondary curriculum and now the A-level curriculum that has been adapted to utilize similar teaching and learning methodologies as those of the O-level curriculum. The A-level curriculum has been aligned to the lower secondary curriculum by making it competence-based and learner-centered. In making it competence-based, the emphasis of learning is not only on acquisition of knowledge, but translating this knowledge into desirable skills, values, and attitudes. This alignment of the A-level curriculum is intended to make the methods of learning interactive, Our hope is that the reconfiguration of the secondary education curricula at both O and A levels into competence-based and learner-centered shall be that small flywheel, that flywheel that gives momentum to move this big mass called interest in learning uptake of STEM education. For us as a government to sustain the milestones and successes that come with reconfiguring the O and A level curriculum into competence-based, project-based, and learner-centered, the higher education institutions must now, as a matter of necessity and urgency, review their respective curricula for initial teacher education and training. So that's the trend we are taking. I'm sure you understand that we are moving from here to also higher education at the university level. The mismatch where universities continue to graduate teachers who cannot utilize competence-based and learner-centered curricula is undesirable. Therefore, for this mismatch to be cured in the universities and higher education institutions, the academic staff who train the teachers must also realign their learning delivery methods to become competence-based and learners. Introduced at all. It is imperative that the institutions at this level will have made the necessary adjustments to accommodate learners who have gotten used to a different way of learning that is competence-based and learner-centered.
katwegiteho aha programu yareba hindugire ahita urugo bantu kwegesa oku wakubasa kushikiriza ebiroto byawe nituba ntutayayisa abantu abarabira mu bintu nyamwingi konka bakatunga eki barikwenda
Itu tuba tugamba Olungereza. Excuse me, sir. Although you are a teacher, we cannot keep quiet when you are leading us astray. Niwe nahurire headmaster yayemerera nawe yagamba kanta kataranyebire. I know. Familiarity breeds contempt. Headmaster yayoruka.
Yakuterro.
Very good for.
yega kurabira mu bintu barabiremu otunje kumanya no kwetegereza rero tunje kishumurizo cyo kwangura kandi okega no kubicira nyensi
kurunogira ngo toragire mu kanisa buriya bu school fees ebura ukaba no yigomba kushoma kintu profession cyo wabina
abashomeza kunabemba rebo mu ishomero ndabari smart bakabajwa abashomeza biki bari impare ngufu na za stocking ndengwa za kaki
abajenyi bitu no babana batuganirira aha bintu barabiremu kandi no bababina no buhabuzi obwakubasa kukuyamba kushikiriza biroto byawe
ranga kandi etumunsi konkanyizire kugashaki ndyaye gasiraki ndya kuna kufera izoba abandebire baryagambaki
reba hindugire nebereho buri Sunday shahi naze kiro aha TV West Honga
okugira amagara marungi nicyo cyo bugiga icyo buri muntu arikwetenga nituba nitukuretera abahangu omu by'amagara barikwegesa uko wakubasa kurinda gye amagara gawe porogaramu egi neyegesa nk'omuntu ashemerere kukora ku yakuba yakwasirwa oburwire obu turi kuba nituganiraho n'abahangu oyu n'omukoro nk'embaga AGM za sako graduations emipira n'enkunga n'ezindi noyenda ngu abantu bazilebe live ningashi butunu aha TV West utaferwa mu gishogu obwa hati TV West nebasa kwereka omukoro gwawe aha kabeyi akachendezibweho
that working together with UNEB, they are yet to finalize the development of an assessment framework to guide the assessment process for the aligned A-level curriculum. When this process is completed, the public shall be sensitized about that also. With that, I congratulate candidates of the 2024 USCE examinations upon the achievement. My plea to you is to keep yourselves safe and healthy so that you become all that your Creator, the Almighty God, put you here on earth to achieve. I thank the parents, the guardians, the teachers, and all the others who have supported the candidates through this cycle. As I communicated at the release of the 2024 UCE examination results, schools have the individual responsibility to always maintain confidentiality and privacy of the learners' results. Once again, I thank UNEB for a job well done. I thank all those who support UNEB in various ways to make the entire 2024 examination season a successful one. It is now my singular honor and pleasure to release the 2024 USCE examination results for public use, and I thank you. Thank you, and God bless you.
In charge, Mike. Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, let's briefly sit for just 3 announcements, and then we'll get into the anthems. Mama, we want to thank you so much. And according to the new competence-based curriculum scoring and assessment criteria, allow me to score you at A, which means exceptionally good performance. Mama, you've led the sector so well, you've guided UNEB so well, and the nation is very grateful. And in that regard, UNEB has actually given us some material to help us understand the grading system better. Please pick it and take it up. Number 2, we are going to have a briefing, a press briefing, right at the spot where we are received from, the boardroom down, and all technical officers of the Ministry of Education are encouraged to stay. That briefing is going to be between us and the press, and it will be led by the PS, Minister of Education and Sports. Mama, my name is Semakula Henry, and I'm a Principal Education Officer in the Department of University Education and Training. I'm here to also represent my Commissioner, who is away on other duties. Ladies and gentlemen, may we now be upstanding for the anthems in reverse order. Thank you very much. We can all congratulate ourselves for this great event. Press, you're encouraged to proceed down to the venue for the briefing, which is the boardroom where we got our breakfast from. But as usual, when you come to State House, you don't have to go hungry. There's a very heavy luncheon for all of us.